AI or VR. So it's either companies like, I think it's like Amazon and people like that are investing, Samsung investing into AR. So like goggles and different things to take reality and enhance it. And then there's companies like Google that are like, no, the future is in artificial intelligence, and that Google Home becoming a robot or like a person, or when you come home, that person that, oh man, I'm so excited for the future, because I can't wait for the future where that I could be like, I can talk to my Google Home from work and go, hey Google, I want macaroni and cheese for dinner tonight and side of broccoli. I'm going to be home probably around 6:30.
My apologies. I don't understand.
Weird. That they'll have that ready for me when I get home, because it's a robot that's going to have the intelligence of that. It'll have the intelligence of the internet, and it'll be able to actually functionally cook and do things like that. And those things aren't that far away. That I'm on that boat. I watched Ex Machina and was like, oh man, that's what it is. That's what the future is.
Yeah, my brother is definitely there, but he lives in San Francisco, where everything is like kind of like moving towards that everywhere you go.
They are the future. They're living in the future already.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. I love San Francisco, man.
I know you do. You go up there all the time.
It's like my city, just because I feel like everyone I talk to over there is like, they're like teeming with life. Like they're not only educated, they're like in like most of the companies that we mentioned. They work in their corporate staff, and you can run into them like while they're on their run. You know, like it's just so like everyone's there, and so you can sit and have a conversation, and you can relate with someone that you just met at a bar festival, and you're like, dude, this is a great idea. I feel like it's possible. And like, yeah, I actually work here. And he's like, I work here. Do you think this? And a startup pops out of nowhere. Like I saw that happen when I was there. There was a dude he worked for Yelp, and there was a girl that worked in Pinterest corporate, and then the other one worked for LinkedIn. Completely different, but they brought the resources to try something while we were there talking. And I was like, dude, this city is something else.
Yeah, like, only in that city do you get all those creative people, and because it's like a social experiment where like if you get the smartest, most resourceful, most creative people and you cram them into a small space and you create that space where it's fun and a fun living environment, what comes out? Well, what's better than a bunch of Google heads? What's better than a bunch of Amazon brains? What's better than a bunch of LinkedIn guys? It's taking one of each, taking the best resource out of all of them and combining them and creating something different. That's the beauty of that city. My cousin lives in San Jose, and he works for Apple, and he's worked for them for many, many years. And he's the shit, man. He's a part of the future. And I have people in my life that I just am blessed to be like, yeah, I know, I used to want an Apple. I know someone that's actually working their way up the ladder at Apple, and I can reach out to them about any Apple questions, talk to them about whatever they can talk to me about with the newest Apple products. Shit, I should podcast with them. I just thought about that now. I'm like, oh, that'd be fun. My cousin works for Tesla. That's the future too.
That video sitting there with the Tesla of all cars.
Tesla's the future, man. Yeah. He actually is the one that got me the job at Capo. Is that he was a tech for Volkswagen for many years. Actually took a pay cut to go and join Tesla. They made up for it in stock, where they were like, we can only pay you this much money a year, but we can try to match what you make now in stock. Would you take that? And he was like, yeah. I was like, bro, that's like Apple coming to you and going like, we're just starting up, we can pay you this much a year, but we'll pay you in stock. Yeah, you just invested into the future, because the future is automated driving. I mean, it's unavoidable. It's already exists. It's autonomous driving where. So that dude is going to be a millionaire someday because he took stock, and that's a good decision. It's going to be pretty cool.
I look forward to that. I mean, as like nervous as I am, I feel like it's okay to like join in on like what is like happening, not be afraid of it, but like kind of evolve with it. But if you like, not like, one thing that I've learned is not to put all my eggs in one basket. You know, I think the future is coming, and it's something that is exciting. And I don't want to sound like old school, but I definitely, with that in mind, I want to create a space for also like privacy and like find that, because that is going to be like what the future is going to like look for, you know.
Privacy will become a commodity.
Yeah.
Privacy will be something that you have to strive for, versus the other way around, where privacy just was readily available and you only got to share what you wanted to share. Now you have to strive and push for privacy, you know. As of right now, you know, Google and everyone else pretty much knows everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
And what that's doing is probably feeding into the technology that they're working on that we don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm convinced that the reason that they're recording all our voices, is the reason that they're doing all that, is because they're gathering a database for an artificial intelligence that needs a very, very, very wide demographic of different voices and fluctuations and how people talk and how people interact and questions people ask, so that when that beta, you know, robot comes out, it's you helped inform what it produces. And at the same time, there are things that you keep private, like, unless you're into that kind of thing, you don't have cameras or microphones in your bedroom. So what goes on between you and your wife, it's between you two, unless you want to bring that in. So that's privacy that you can construct and say, hey, when I talk to you and I ask Google what I want for dinner or what the weather's like, that's fine, but I'm not bringing Google into my bedroom. I'm not bringing Google into my bathroom. I'm not bringing Google into my shower. Those are things that I choose to keep private. But who knows? Eventually the future might look like, what's privacy, you know? What's complete transparency? Who knows?
Yeah, it's exciting though.
I know I couldn't have guessed, you know, when I was...
Well, it's also like think about it. I mean, if Google and everyone else is thinking about the future that far ahead, why can't we? So, with the idea of privacy, what can we do now to, like, maybe in the future be a business that can bring about privacy?
Exactly. Privacy will be its own, like, almost like safety deposit box, where you have to pay a premium for privacy. You have to almost create a platform in itself of, like, hey, how to, just like how you have your social security number on Life Alert or LifeLock or whatever, you have to pay a premium for privacy in your home, where, you know, you don't get recorded, you don't get videotaped, you don't get that is your space that no technology can get into. And that gets harder and harder. I'm watching it even just with comedians. I watch a lot and listen to a lot of comedians, and one of the biggest problems that comedians face is people recording their sets. And it takes them months and months to gather that hour of, you know, comedic material, and it just takes one asshole to pull up their phone and record it and then put it on YouTube, and then everyone has that comedian's new set. Well, how do you prevent that? Well, now like Dave Chappelle was the first one to do with this last special, where they have these bags where if you go to a show, you put your phone into this bag while the phone is in the bag. You cannot text. It has no internet. It's completely blocked off. And if an emergency comes up where you need to use the phone, you leave the theater, you open the bag, you can make your call, send your text. But gone are the days of people recording people's sets because a company came up with an effective, practical way to keep people's privacy.
I went to the Snapchat event and it was like that. They put like a special bar around our phone so we couldn't. They had no access to our cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm sorry. We just found out we're gonna see Drake live. I'm taking this off right now.
Oh,
yeah.
I watched your story. I was like, dude, you was watching Drake with your brother,
and I was like in the front, you know.
It's like, dude, and as a viewer, I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad I get to watch this because you're there, you get to capture it, and I get to enjoy it as if I'm there.
It was a fun little show, man.
I love Drake. He
has so many hits. I was
Drake.
blown away. He was just like He just dropped two new songs that came out on like the day of the government shutdown. I feel like one was almost like a religious title. I can't remember the name. I feel like I heard on the radio today where something about like it had the word God or something. Yeah, it was God's Plan.
God's Plan. That was it. And I was like,
it's a good song.
I haven't heard it, but I love Drake. When I was going through all my shit with my ex, I still don't get it. I listened to Drake day in and day out. I don't know why. All I wanted to do was listen to Drake. To the point where I downloaded his album and I was like obsessed with the lyrics and everything, the beats. I was Drake obsessed. I think he's great. He's one of those people that had to come out of the gate and had to be the greatest right away. There was no other option. He was a Degrassi kid. I remember I watched him on Degrassi as crippled Jake, whoever he was. So to go from that image to them being one of the best rappers, it's like there was no middle ground. There was no learning curve. It's either you were the best or you weren't.
What's crazy is that like that transition is like important. I think like even me looking at my career right now, I'm in the transition right now. I can go from zero to 100 real quick, you know?
Real quick.
In the words of Drake.
Real quick. I'm not going to say the last line of that, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Real fucking quick.
No, but I feel like that process, trust the process, it's still there. It's still accessible. I really want to pursue this year hard.
The good thing is, it's the year just started, man.
It doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't, you're right. But the reality is that we're in the 22nd day of the new year, and you've already accomplished a lot.
I need more goals, man.
That's good. Have the drive. Don't settle for what you have. But also, you know.
That reminds me of something else. I'm just making a list, man.
Good, man. Lists are good. I need more lists in my life.
Well, I feel like I made a list of goals that I want to hit. I feel like I've hit a lot of them.
Good, man. That means
including like getting signed and stuff. But I think I've like made that list, and then like what's next kind of thing. Like I need to make another list. You know?
Yeah. Wow, that's good. Once you've accomplished that list, what all that means is you gotta shoot higher.
Dude, I also one thing that I put on the list is like fasting and like pursuing God in a deeper way. I got to the point where it was like what does like meditation look like? What does it mean? I know that there's so many different meanings. There's people that take it and like go into like the crazy like astro
projection.
and there's other